Hello, my name is Kurt Bell. I'm the author of Going Alone, a book of courage, joy, and independence. I wrote Going Alone after spending the better part of 4 decades exploring alone in deep wilderness places in Japan and the United States. And after I came to discover an emptiness out there that is quite compelling, quite alluring, and it can draw you into basically nihilism, and could lead to despair. But I chose instead of that to build that thing that I just described, the life of courage, joy, and independence. And I did so by cobbling together 30 objectives and principles that are basically the roadmap and the guidelines for my life. It's how I live my life, and I call that the good life. So there's Going Alone, which is the discovery of a universe that doesn't care, and the good life, which is my response to that, and my effort to live well in the pursuit of virtue and the improvement of well-being in the time that I've got. So what you're going to hear now are a reading of 3 of my blog posts. I write my blog every morning. You can find it at goingalone.org. And I take the ideas from my good life objectives and principles, and I formulate them into short essay form treatments of life scenario. And I'm going to read 3 of them to you now. Each of these is addressed to my friend Eric, who took his life decades ago as a matter of principle. His story will be told soon in a book that I've already finished, I just need to publish, called No More Looking Out for Number One. I wrote that book more than 2 decades ago. You'll hear a train whistle blast between each of the writing episodes. That's the train that sounds as it passes the lonely railroad crossing in the deserted ghost town of Siberia out in the desert, where I base all of my exploits these days. So between the train whistle and the salutation to Eric, let's begin. Sailing backwards, October 2nd, 2019. Dear Eric, what is the cost of yesterday? The cost is now. What is the value of yesterday? The value is maturity, but only when we possess the fortitude to maintain or adjust our course in accord with the lessons we've learned. Only if we remember to just glance back sometimes and not to stare too long at yesterday. Imagine a sailor crossing the sea while looking at where they'd been. A man or woman at the rudder of a small boat, adjusting course while gazing over their shoulder at the past. Look too long behind and they'll not see the rocks ahead until they're ruined and going down. No matter how wonderful the places we'd been, we must always and soon adjust our attention forward. We should also plan and chart a course into the sea. We should steer and tack and make our way forward. Even in open water, the wise sailor attends their forward progress and sets a watch at every hour and season. Where we are now and where we are headed next is what matter most. Our past adventures are no longer any real living, and should only serve as reference and remembrance for the benefit of now and what is to come. I'd remember yesterday always if I had no wish to live well today. I'd linger long in the past only if I was too tired or hurt or done with the present. It's all right to give up when we've had enough, when the journey's been long and we're ready to go lost with the wind while gazing behind at the sea, to wait for the open waters to swallow us soon while looking happily back at where we've been and lived, or even to linger with our past pain until the great ocean takes it all away. But let's not willingly lose ourselves too soon to the sea through gross misattention of the past while we're still fit to sail on. Let's keep our eyes forward with just periodic glances to memory for as long as we desire to go on, and then a little further still for safe measure. Let's save the backwards gazing for old age and our readiness for the end. Let's look back quick now for reference and then turn forward to scan the horizon ahead and all around. There are storm clouds out there and wind. There's sunrise and sunset and fine days and breezes to be had. Look again behind, quick, and then forward and all around. Get up and grab the rope and the tiller. There's time yet to attend the sea. It's time to sail. Many places to sit, nowhere to rest. October 3rd, 2019. Dear Eric, I think you could have rested quite comfortably upon a log, or a big rock, or on the sand, or a seat at the college library, or a park bench. This is because you sought your rest only when you needed it, and were glad of whatever device or settling might accommodate your body without too much discomfort. You simply desired to rest. There was a time in my own life when I had seemingly everything. I was just beyond the end of youth and making ready for middle age, and I didn't have much idea about what it meant to live well, and so I employed my seeming abundance towards making a good show of living well. I made my life into a theater, and I produced a display to communicate to myself and others that I was a successful actor. My first performance was the purchase of a nice home, which I began to furnish nicely. Then I started inviting people over to see what I had done. That was easy, and it felt pretty good, as long as I kept busy, as long as I didn't have time to think. The production of this show of my life was a good way to stay distracted, a good way to not hear the little voice that was trying to speak to me of other things. I was so busy for more than a year that I could barely hear the little voice asking me what I was doing. But eventually I ran out of space to prepare and decorate. I had put things everywhere. In particular, I had a lot of chairs. My show house had an enormous yard, over an acre of land, and we had a pool, and lovely landscaping all around the pool with fruit trees of many sorts. Each day, on my way home from work, I stopped at a big nursery to look at and buy plants for the yard. I also bought chairs, a lot of chairs. I purchased patio chairs, garden chairs, benches, and all sorts of antique garden seating, which I could place all over the yard. I put these items around the pool, and out in the garden, and next to a big tree, and around an especially nice spot at the edge of a hill, overlooking a picturesque valley view. The centerpiece for all of this was a quite expensive collection of wrought iron patio furniture just outside the back door, which I had arranged below a redwood arbor I'd had built. So many places to sit, just nowhere to rest. I only remember forcing myself to ever sit in any of those chairs. I'd tell myself to sit down and try a seat out when I first moved it into the yard, though I'd never sit in it again once I had it in place and adjusted just so, and had the view from the seat just right, and the position next to the little table to place one's coffee was perfectly set. Done. I was done with that setting and seat, and I'd move on to the next showpiece, place of rest. The Stoic Emperor Marcus Aurelius was satisfied with a plank bed and skin, and wrote that it is possible for a man to live in a palace without wanting either guards or embroidered dresses or torches and statues and such like show, which speaks to not only a simple life, but a life of Spartan outward wants, a life in which the satisfaction of living comes less from external display or comforts and more from some inner fulfillment. This was the point I was missing with my show house of many chairs, for I had created a personal palace displaying the outward trappings of rest and peace before first cultivating an inner man of such character. I had no place to sit, as I was then incapable of rest. Eventually, I gave up my seats, and my possessions, and my home, and that life. But I kept my family, but I kept my values, as confused and unidentified as they were at that age. And I kept my movement and inability to sit and rest. And I took that restless show on the road, on a great life adventure with my wife and daughter. And I stopped trying to quiet the little man speaking to me from within. I began to listen then to what he was trying to say. Life at an Oasis, October 4th, 2019. Dear Eric, do we borrow from tomorrow when we live in an imagined better day? Maybe not. Perhaps this is how we make way into that better day. Isn't this what we do when we go to school, or when we work hard to improve at our job, or when we have children, or write a book, or tell a story, or share a dream? In all these things, we are borrowing some imagined future life in order to help ourselves or others begin to live better now. So it seems we can borrow from the future just a bit, just a little bit. But the future is an intangible something that really isn't. We can't truly go to or even know what will come until it is here. What's out there, possibly ahead, are just imagined mirage on the horizon, which we make real through our efforts of approach. The wavy, shimmering dreams slowly materialize before our eyes as we get close. Others, those who have gone before, may tell us of some worthy dream oasis to be found in the wastes if only we go this way or that and provision ourselves sufficiently and correctly for the journey. They caution us to not miss our chance at discovery, warning that opportunity will pass like a desert caravan missing a sanctuary of life. Keep our eyes forward then on the wavy thing shimmering in the heat. March forward towards the dream, the safety of that dream, the place where dreams are real. When we make the mark, when we reach the place we were after, or where we were told to be after, and we've caused the oasis to appear from nothing, from a simple dream into something real, what then of the journey? Did we live well along the way? Were we truly alive while we trudged through the sand in search of this place? Did we neglect the moments of desert travel? What unspoken treasures did we pass by along the way, scattered on the ground or glimmering in the hillsides of seemingly forgotten lands, forsaken lands we never thought or knew we could visit, as we trudged along the sanctioned lands? What mysteries and wonders of living did we bypass along the way, along a course we can never truly retrace, even if we followed our own footsteps back to the very places we once stood? And so we sit at the blessed oasis and sip sweet water and eat honeyed bread and witness the approved life around us. There are others here as well, others like us, directed to this place by sage counsel of the past. We'll talk with them and compare notes. What a place this oasis is. How splendid we all arrived. It's a pity those out there in the desert, those who wander still, those who remain in the wastes. The sun is going down now. Shall we sit together and watch the final rays disappear behind the sand and water? It's good we came here, is it not? We did the right thing, did we not? No, never mind. Let's watch the sun go down.